Happy Saturday afternoon, everyone. Welcome to End The Simpademic, and Jason coming at you here with a reminder. Welcome to End The Simpademic, the channel where if you make a comment on some of my content, you may wind up getting that as part of a future episode. And I will say in this particular situation, there was a slight correction that was made in one of my previous videos here, I think in the last day or two, about what women want being leadership. And I had a commenter come along and just be like, well, yeah, but I mean, they don't want, just any kind of leadership. Bad leadership can be bad. And to which I said, okay, I didn't clarify that when I posted this video. So, yes, that is true. We don't, being a bad leader is not what I was saying there. What I was saying in this particular case is, good leadership is what I was referring to. I just didn't clarify that, so my apologies for any confusion on that one. But anyway, women are looking for good quality leadership, not crappy leadership. So AA Wilma, WILLMA2, thank you very much. I have to clear that up just to make sure that nobody is confused. Obviously, crappy, abusive, or misguided or incorrect leadership is not going to attract anybody. In fact, it's going to have the opposite effect. So the fact that I didn't clarify that, I do owe anybody who might have misconstrued that as an apology. But yes, women are attracted to good leaders. And good leadership, as I've mentioned before, is leadership that is consultative, leadership that is decisive, and leadership that is respectful, doesn't pull any a power trip. And when men get into power trip leadership, a lot of times it does get into domestic violence, which I will never, never, never endorse. In fact, I will always condemn that type of behavior here. So, but it is consultative, it is positive, constructive leadership, and also respectful. So that is the kind of leadership I was referring to. That is the kind of leadership that women will find attractive. And I've experienced this recently myself, as I've mentioned. And between that and I'm going to also throw a shout out to Anna Jorgensen, your wingman again. We had a little bit of a commenting back and forth here. If you combine that with the fact that I have deprioritized dating, somebody referred to me in one of her threads in a comment that it's kind of like catnip. And I've personally experienced that it kind of is like catnip. If you say that you don't particularly, you don't do everything that you do with the idea of dating in mind, and I don't, but if you do what you do to improve yourself for yourself, that is attractive. It is kind of like catnip, and it's catnip that isn't being deliberately put out there to attract cats or women with cats, as sometimes happens. But it's kind of this catnip. It's kind of this alluring thing. It's like, hey, this man doesn't necessarily need me, but maybe I want some of what he's having. Sometimes it's kind of like sitting in a restaurant and looking at the restaurant and not ordering. Maybe you're sitting there with a grilled chicken breast, but you see somebody across the table with a porterhouse steak, and you weren't thinking of that porterhouse steak when you ordered your grilled chicken breast, but all of a sudden you see that and it smells really good, and all of a sudden you want that porterhouse. This is what it's like to be content with what you have. And I'm sure that person with that porterhouse steak is just loving what they have. And being content with what you have. And at the same time, doing what you do for yourself. That person ordered that porterhouse for themselves. They didn't order the Wagyu steak, which is a higher quality steak, but they did what they did to make them happy. I feel like I'm doing the same thing. I am improving myself to make myself happy. I've gotten back into bowling again for the first time in 20 years. Get back to the gym as soon as one of my former gyms actually responds to me. That'd be really nice if it happened, but anyway, I digress. Right now I feel like I'm that guy at that table with that big old porterhouse steak. I could have ordered the Wagyu, but the porterhouse steak is casting its delicious smell across the restaurant of life. And women are seeing that and they're like, hey, can I have some of that? So that's what good leadership does. It's that porterhouse steak. So anywho, this is Jason with End The Simpademic. This is one of my shorter ones, but I just wanted to clarify this. And again, please put your comments below. It could be a future subject because with the small amount of followers that I have right now, I certainly have time to respond and certainly have time to film an episode in kind for you. So anyway, throwing that out there. You folks have a good rest of the day. It's beautiful in Minnesota today. We're in the 30s. And snow's starting to melt. And the sun is out. I've got everything pointed backwards so that the sun in the window is not glaring in my face in the camera on this one. So yeah, just some food for thought, literally. And we'll see you tomorrow for the Sunday afternoon edition of End The Simpademic. Peace out, homies.